Following the House's passage of President Trump's budget bill, we asked our local representatives on both sides of the aisle how this would affect the everyday lives of New Yorkers.
The package presents sweeping tax cuts, Medicaid reform, and changes to immigration spending. Natalie Kutchko has more for us.
President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act passed the U.S. House by a narrow vote of 215 to 214 Thursday. It now goes to the Senate, which has brought forward plans of making changes.
Probably the worst budget in American history. It cuts back $1 trillion on health care, on nutritional assistance for the poor, for the elderly, for children, all in the effort to get a large tax cut, multi-trillion-dollar tax cut to the wealthiest people in America.
There's significant pushback from Democrats. Congressman Joe Morelli says among direct hits to New Yorkers relying on Medicaid or programs like SNAP, he also expects to see closures of rural hospitals and longer wait times at emergency rooms across the U.S. Republican Assemblymember Josh Jensen says there's still time to reform aspects of the federal package.
There's still a lot of time. There's still a lot of deliberation. And so I think a lot of people are hearing calls of panic. And I understand the concern, especially when you look at the impact to New York State's Medicaid appropriation, which would be about $10 billion, the impacts to important programs like SNAP. But this is just essentially an opening salvo, if you will. I think we can have more conversations about that. I think the state should be taking lead on a lot of these things, putting some guardrails on it without creating a fiscal cliff, a crisis for families. But we should be having the conversation.
As the plan goes before the U.S. Senate, both the Senate and House have to pass identical pieces of legislation.
My expectation is they're going to want to move quick. That's seemingly what the president has asked for the Senate to do and asked for Congress as a whole to do. Certainly, if the federal government makes a spending plan that affects our state budget, we're going to have to go back and figure out how do we react.
So a lot at stake here. State lawmakers have 4 weeks left of legislative session over in Albany, where these conversations with both state and federal partners will continue. Reporting in studio, Natalie Kutchko, News 8.